morning, everyone!
Hello. Welcome to the middle of the week. I'm Paolo del Rosario. Let's get you up to speed with some news that you could use right now.
Rise and shine, beautiful people. I'm Anne Asis-Carilo. Let's make sure this hump day is off to a great start with some laughter, inspiration, good vibes, and even better company.
Happy Wednesday, I'm Monique Tuzon, and your mornings are always more fun with us. Join us in the next hour and a half for stories and conversations that matter. So guys, today is a special day because Paolo decided to wear his Dubai shirt. He's just missing his chest action over here.
For those who don't understand, these girls, all right, na-shock
Yes.
sila na habang nung nasa Dubai ako and I was traversing the desert.
Traversing, I love.
Mainit kasi, so nagtanggal ako ng ilang batones sa top. And then this is the same top. Mo noticed and she's like, oh my gosh, it's a legend.
Wow,
So,
I did not
ayun.
say those exact words. I said, Pao, you need to unbutton that for our viewers.
We should have asked our crew to put an electric fan there para may hangin-hangin pang
And
ganyan,
then show us your walk.
No,
Because this walk was
trust me, mahangin
amazing.
talaga ako in general, so no worries.
Yes.
Ew,
Oh my goodness,
No,
Pao!
tama mo dyan self-awareness.
Okay, wow, great Wednesday.
So
Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat.
let's move on with some news that our viewers can actually use. We begin with a bit of bad news to consumers. Electricity rates are set to rise this February. Meralco announced a 28 centavos per kilowatt hour increase. That means an additional 57 pesos for a household that consumes 200 per kilowatt hour a month. An additional 142 pesos to those consuming 500 per kilowatt hour. Meralco attributed the rate hike primarily to higher generation charges.
The PNP meanwhile warns the public about a new text scam, and this time targeting relatives of hospitalized patients. Scammers are supposedly posing as hospital staff and are requesting payments via e-wallet or bank transfer. Once the payment is made, they become unreachable. Police say they have recorded at least 19 cases of this scam. Authorities are investigating whether hospital staff may be involved.
Isa po yan sa talagang kailangang imbestigahan po na how come nakakuha po sila ng mga numero po ng mga kaanak po ng mga biktima po na naka-confine. Alam po nila kung sino po ang kukontakin. So, hindi naman basta-basta ibinibigay yan. Binibigay po yan normally doon po sa mga staff po ng hospital without putting any blame to anyone po. Alam po natin ang mga criminal po would always find ways.
Police urge the public to pay hospital bills directly at official billing departments to avoid falling victim to fraud. So I just want to say this before I read my prompter. I did not write this, okay? So here we go. He brings the thunder and he's got your weather. Paolo has today's forecast from Weather HQ with some extra chest today. Go ahead, Paolo.
Well, Mo, I don't know who wrote that, but that was very well written. Several weather systems will cause rains in our country today. Now let's go first to Luzon. The northeast monsoon, which will affect the northern and central Luzon regions, will bring cloudy skies with rains over the Cordillera Administrative Region and the rest of the Cagayan Valley. Now, it will also cause partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated light rains over in the Ilocos region as well, right over here, and the rest of central Luzon. Now, the shear line that affects the eastern section of central Luzon and southern Luzon will bring cloudy weather with periods of rain in these areas. Now, let's go down south to the Visayas region. Expect partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers due to the localized thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon or in the evening. So let's move on now to Mindanao, where you can expect the easterlies to bring warm and humid conditions, along with the occasional rain showers and thunderstorms. Now, yesterday, Pag-asa spotted a low-pressure area just outside the Philippine area of responsibility, as you can see right over here. Now, according to the Weather Bureau, this LPA has a moderate chance of becoming a tropical cyclone within the next 24 hours. But now, it's a trough or extension, and its trough and extension rather will bring cloudy skies with scattered rains and thunderstorms to Palawan. So residents in Palawan, please be advised that to watch out for the flash floods or landslides due to the moderate to at times heavy rains. As for our sea conditions, a gale warning is in effect today, particularly affecting the eastern seaboard of southern Luzon, particularly in the northern and the eastern coast of the Catanduanes. Of course, as we take a look at that here, the gale warning will also bring waves around with the heights of 4 meters in the northern eastern parts of Catanduanes. Now, mariners are urged not to venture out to sea due to the dangerous sea conditions, with the wave heights, again, as we mentioned, potentially reaching up to 4 meters. Now, to give us an update on the low-pressure area outside the Philippine area of responsibility, we have with us on the phone Pag-asa weather specialist Loridin de la Cruz. Magandang umaga, Loridin. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yes po, magandang din sa inyo, sir. At sa lahat ng ating mga tagapakinig, ngayon nga po ay may mga pag-ulan pa rin inaasahan dito po sa malaking bahagi ng bansa, partikular dito sa Isabela, Aurora at Quezon. Maulap pa rin na may mga pag-ulan dahil po sa shear line. Samantala sa Mindanao, halos buong Mindanao maulan din sa araw na ito dahil sa easterly. Yung Palawan din, maulan pa rin dahil naman sa trough ng LPA na nasa labas ng PAR. Pero yung trough po ng LPA, yung LPA na ito na nasa labas ng PAR, mababa naman po yung chance ng pumasok pa ng ating area of responsibility. So yung threat po niya, wala naman po itong threat sa atin. Samantala, dahil naman sa amihan, magiging maulan pa rin ang natitirang bahagi ng Cagayan Valley at ang Cordillera Administrative Region. The rest of the country, generally fair weather, liban sa mga localized thunderstorms. Yan ang latest mula sa Pag-asa. Ito po si Lori de la Cruz.
Lori, just a quick follow-up there. Yung LPA po, ano pong track niya just in case it does become a tropical cyclone? According to yung 2 a.m. update po, may medium chance of becoming a tropical cyclone po ang LPA na to.
Yes po. Most likely, sir, papalayo po ito ng bansa sa West Philippine Sea. Most likely, may chance po na sa Vietnam po ito papunta.
Right now, medyo apektado ngayon ng Palawan by the LPA. Are there any chances other parts of the country will be affected po?
Sa ngayon ay Palawan po ang affected niya, and we're expecting na mag-i-improve din yung weather by tomorrow doon sa Palawan.
Maraming salamat, Pag-asa weather specialist Lori de la Cruz, for giving us an update on the low pressure area outside the PAR. Maraming salamat po. Girls, back to you.
The Commission on Elections reminds candidates to strictly follow campaign guidelines. Speaking with BNC's Agenda, COMELEC Chairman George Garcia says that even if Oplan Baklas was launched allowing COMELEC to take down illegal campaign materials, he explains there will come a time they will only write the candidates violating those guidelines for them to correct their own mistakes.
Again, sa mga susunod na araw, hindi na po kami para magbaklas. Ang mangyayari na lang po, susulatan namin yung mismo mga kandidato upang sila mismo ang magpabaklas, magpatanggal ng mga illegally posted campaign materials nila. At pagka po hindi nila tinanggal, kakasuhan na lang namin sila ng disqualification at election offense.
The Tulfo brothers remain on top in the senatorial candidate survey of the Octa Research Group. ACT CIS Representative Erwin Tulfo is at number 1, followed by his brother, broadcaster Ben Tulfo, at number 2. The Tulfo brothers were followed by Senator Bong Go, former Senate President Tito Soto, and Senator Bong Revilla. TV host Willie Revillame, former Senator Manny Pacquiao, and former Interior Secretary Benhur Abalos may have a chance of entering the Magic 12. The face-to-face survey was carried out among 1,200 respondents from January 25th to the 31st.
Sige Party List will clarify the status of its former nominee Caroline Tanchay at the House of Representatives after she resigned from the party last September 2024. The party list president Paolo Margarita tells BNC's Agenda Tanchay already transferred to another party, Kamalayan, which means her vote on the impeachment of Vice President Sara Duterte no longer matters. He says they are now ready to submit the name of their third nominee to replace Tanchay.
clarify with the House leadership kung ano po ang ginawa po nila. Since siya po ba ay tinanggal na sa roll of members upon her resignation. Dapat po kasi yung resignation niya, so furnish niya rin po ang Speaker of the House. Dapat inalis na po siya.
Cambodia and Philippines looking to strengthen ties. That is what President Bongbong Marcos and his Cambodian counterpart agreed on during their meeting yesterday in Malacanang. They tackled ending transnational crimes and deepening economic ties through 8 new signed agreements. These include digital transformation, agriculture, food security, and tourism. This was the first time the Cambodian Prime Minister visited the Philippines.
The visit of His Excellency the Prime Minister reflects another important milestone in our long-standing ties with Cambodia. To our friends from Cambodia, I wish to reiterate that the Philippines is open for business, and we welcome the opportunity to partner and achieve greater commercial successes with you.
We remain committed to ensuring a welcoming and supportive environment to our Filipino friends. Our multilateral cooperation, Cambodia underlines the importance of upholding ASEAN unity and centrality, especially at times of conflict and geopolitical dynamics. As the Philippines assumes ASEAN chairmanship in 2026, I assured President Marcos of Cambodia full support. I look forward to continuing work with President Marcos to expand our partnership and mutual prosperity, and hope to welcome Mr. President to Cambodia in the very near future.
On to world news, the already fragile ceasefire in Gaza in peril as Hamas says it will delay the release of hostages set for Saturday until further notice. The Palestinian militant group blaming Israel for alleged violations of the truce, including shelling and stopping aid from entering Gaza. As for Israel, Hamas' decision itself violates the ceasefire deal. In Washington, U.S. President Donald Trump warned Hamas against holding on to the hostages.
Well, I would say this, and I'm going to let that be because that's Israel's decision, but as far as I'm concerned, if all of the hostages aren't returned by Saturday at 12 o'clock, I think it's an appropriate time. I would say cancel it and all bets are off and let hell break out. I'd say they ought to be returned by 12 o'clock on Saturday, and if they're not returned, all of them, not in drips and drabs, not 2 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 2. Saturday at 12 o'clock, and after that, I would say all hell is going to break out. And I don't think they're going to do it. I think a lot of them are dead. I think a lot of the hostages are dead. I think it's a great human tragedy what's happened, how people can be that mean to do.
The trade war between the world's 2 biggest economies escalates as China's new tariffs on U.S. goods take effect. Beijing imposed these measures after Trump raised tariffs on all Chinese goods by 10%. A 15% tariff now applies to U.S. coal and liquefied natural gas, which could affect global energy prices. A 10% tariff, meanwhile, has been slapped on crude oil, agricultural machinery, and large vehicles like pickup trucks. China has also opened an investigation into American tech giant Google over possible anti-monopoly violations.
Another Trump executive order is out. This time, it orders the U.S. Justice Department to pause prosecutions of Americans accused of bribing foreign government officials while trying to win business in their countries. The pause stays while the Attorney General issues new guidelines. The EO states that over-enforcement of the law creates an uneven playing field because Americans are prohibited from engaging in practices common among international competitors.
And for those of you that know this, it turned out to be, it sounds good on paper, but in practicality, it's a disaster. It means that if an American goes over to a foreign country and starts doing business over there legally, legitimately, or otherwise, It's almost a guaranteed investigation, indictment, and nobody wants to do business with the Americans because of it. Nobody wants to do business. They say, look, we can deal with China. They can do whatever they want. We can deal with Russia. They want to deal with the Americans, but they don't want to be under investigation every time they speak to American, every time an American makes a phone call to somebody in a different country. It's a disaster for this country.
U.S. President Donald Trump signed another controversial measure that restores the use of plastic straw. Trump signed an executive order countering his predecessor's policy against single-use plastics, saying it's ridiculous to use paper straw. He counters fears on the possible impact of plastic straw on marine life. The World Wildlife Fund estimates 100,000 marine life die daily due to plastic pollution.
Over in sports, Gilas Pilipinas prepares for battle in the February window of the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. The men's national basketball team have entered training camp in Laguna for their tour of duty this month. Gilas is building up their campaign by participating in a series of pocket tournaments in Qatar, and the national team will face Chinese Taipei and New Zealand for its third window campaign starting February 20. The Philippines is looking to improve its chances of securing a high seeding when the FIBA Asia Cup tips off in August. Over in the NBA, a triumphant Lakers premiere for Luka Doncic in Hollywood. The Lake Show cruised past the Utah Jazz in front of a sold-out crowd Tuesday, Philippine time, 1:32 to 1:13. The Slovenian phenom showed his flashes of brilliance with 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists in 24 minutes of play. Doncic, who is coming off a calf injury, says his debut with the purple and gold is a special moment.
The way they received me, everybody, teammates, front office, everybody here. I heard a lot of noise when I was introduced, so I really appreciate it. It was a special moment. I was just happy to be on the court again.
Speaking of the sold-out crowd, stars from both sports and entertainment were in attendance for Luka's Laker debut, which include Mavs legend Dirk Nowitzki and pop star Adele. Comedian Will Ferrell was also present. LeBron James led the Lakers to 24 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists. The Lake Show now on a 6-game winning streak as they sit fourth in the Wild Wild West at 32 and 19. Luka Doncic will play his first game in Dallas since the mega trade on April 13.
Tributes pouring in for Filipina culinary powerhouse Margarita Forés following the news of her unexpected passing. Former Tourism Secretary Bernadette Romulo Puyat looked back on their adventures together on her Instagram post. Puyat says she can't believe that Forés was gone too soon. Award-winning food content creator Abby Marquez says meeting Forés, who is one of her biggest inspirations, meant the world to her. She thanked Forés for her kindness, her legacy, and the pizza she sent her just last Sunday. Chibo, one of the restaurants under Forés's culinary empire, honored its founder and guiding light. The statement says her warmth, creativity, and unwavering spirit will remain an inspiration. The message ends with, quote, "You will always be Chibo." Forés's son Amado confirmed her passing. Report says the renowned chef was found dead in her hotel room in Hong Kong. The case is under investigation, but for now, there was no indication of foul play. In 2016, Forés was named Asia's Best Female Chef by Asia's 50 Best Restaurants Awards. She was 65 years old. The country has lost one of its culinary champions. Hannah T. looks back on the life and legacy of Margarita Forés.
The culinary world is in mourning whenever the name Margarita Forés is mentioned. Her love for food and her passion for sharing it with others comes to mind. Known to her family and friends as Gaita, Forés is celebrated for bringing the flavors of Italy to the Philippines. Born into the prominent Araneta Forés family on March 23, 1959, she grew up immersed in elegance and tradition. She attended Assumption College in Makati and spent part of her youth in New York, studying at Marymount School. She graduated with a degree in accountancy from Assumption College. Her life took a turn in 1986 when she traveled to Italy and discovered her love for its cuisine. Under the tutelage of 3 renowned Italian chefs, Forés immersed herself in Italian food and culture. Upon returning to the Philippines, she introduced Filipinos to modern Italian dining. In 1997, she opened Chibo, a restaurant that continues to define casual Italian cuisine in the country. Through her other restaurants, Grace Park, Luso, and Alto, Forés promoted farm-to-table dining and championed Filipino ingredients. But her passion extended beyond the kitchen. As a mother, she poured her love into raising her only son, George Amado Forés. In the world of culinary arts, she was an icon. In 2016, she became the first Filipina to be named Asia's Best Female Chef by the organization behind the world's 50 best restaurants. In 2018, the Italian government awarded her the Order of the Star of Italy. The following year, she was named a United Nations Ambassador for Gastronomic Tourism. Despite battling cancer twice, she never lost her passion. In 2024, she rebranded her food and beverage group under her own name and opened a new signature fine dining restaurant at the Ayala Triangle. Margarita Forés was more than a chef. She was a visionary who brought global flavors to life, showcased local ingredients to international audiences, and inspired countless others to follow in her footsteps. Hannah T., Bilyonaryo News Channel.
In lighter entertainment news, Indonesian singer-songwriter Nicki just held the Buzz World Tour in Manila last night at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. Fans flocked to the venue for her sold-out concert, which will have its second day today and on March 1. This is Nicki's biggest tour date, with 41 stops across North America, Europe, the UK, Asia, Australia, and New Zealand. She first visited the Philippines in 2018 during Head in the Clouds Music Festival, along with other 88 rising artists like Joji, Rich, and Brian. She then staged her first solo concert in 2023. The 25-year-old performer is best known for hit songs Every Summertime, Low Key, and Back Burner.
You know, on that note, I think we gotta, pay tribute still to Margarita Forés because,
Yes.
incredible legacy that she left.
Amazing.
To be
Like
honest,
we were just talking about it during Hannah's report. When I was younger here in the Philippines, we would always eat at Chibo. And then I was so surprised when I moved back here. It tastes the same. It's just as amazing. And like it's just a household name, right? Like when you think of the Philippines, for me, I think of Chibo.
Yeah.
It's always
And
been
what
there.
I love about Chibo is the consistency of their food, the quality of their food.
Always.
Even if you go to a different branch, the way they cook the pasta is always the same.
And their service is amazing.
Service
Yeah,
is
I mean,
amazing.
Margarita Forés, when obviously she had the vision, she brought that home. Hannah reported, how she actually had the capability of bringing it back here after visiting Italy, and of course he didn't franchise Chibo.
Yes,
It's all
right.
hers.
Yes,
I mean, I've been to a couple of her concepts in the past. I even had a chance to interview her back, I think, in 2017, 2018. And, her ibang spirit niya.
Yeah.
So it's such a big loss to the Philippine culinary community.
Not just the
100%.
Philippine culinary community, I feel like the
world.
Philippines in general. Like,
Yeah.
grab
Yeah.
it. Like,
Yes.
I was shocked. I
Yeah.
thought it's just like kind of when we heard about Kobe dying, I thought I was like, no way she just died.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
shock
So
factor.
young.
Because you just recently saw her on some news articles.
Yeah.
Her picture was there, and she looked
She was
really
at a
healthy
wedding,
and
her
beautiful.
sister's wedding.
Yeah,
And
so it's
not only
really
that,
a
I mean,
shock.
even when Gordon Ramsay was here, she
Yes,
took Gordon
yes.
Ramsay around Farmers Market.
Yeah, I
And,
know.
Right.
I can only imagine, again, it's a shock for everyone. And our
Yes.
heart goes out to her family.
Yes.
And, of course, all her fans out there. Hanapin yung mga restaurant niya, dumugin niyo po.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Kain tayo.
Exactly. We're sending our prayers and our sincerest condolences to the family of Margarita Forés and to all the lives that she has touched.
Yeah, so, speaking of food, actually, very apt yung susunod natin na segment.
I know, and it's a bit lighter. Speaking of food, we're going to talk about calorie counting in food menu that is now required in Quezon City. Keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.
And welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. Quezon City takes a step in helping its citizens become healthier by making better dining choices by requiring restaurants to put calorie count labels on its menu. Will the ordinance ultimately achieve its goal? Well, let's find out. Joining us for this discussion is Dr. Marc Dexter Macalintal, lifestyle medicine specialist. It's a beautiful day, Doc Dex. Thank you very much for joining us.
Of course, no problem.
Doc, si Mayor Joy Belmonte just signed the IRR, the implementing rules and regulations for this. And of course, let's talk about this law in general first. Just how do you think it could actually affect public health in Quezon City?
Well, it has a great potential to promote healthier choices among our residents in Quezon City. By displaying our calorie counts, people can be more aware of what they are actually consuming, they're actually eating, and this could lead to better informed choices regarding their nutrition, reducing the risk of obesity, diabetes, and other lifestyle-related choices or lifestyle-related diseases. Now, it is one step toward empowering the public to take charge of their health, but calories are not just calorie is equal to health. No? So, kinakailangan alam din natin kung ano nga ba yung laman mismo ng calories and even yung mga micronutrient counts natin dyan.
So, Doc, I'm really glad that this is happening because in the U.S. it's already happening, and I feel for me, like I'm dieting now, it's very helpful. So my question to you is, how can restaurants ensure that the calorie counts they provide that are accurate and not misleading, since this is the first of its kind, I'm assuming, here in the Philippines?
Well, your restaurants can collaborate with nutrition experts such as your registered nutritionist dietitians to count calories for them accurately. They can use standardized recipes, measuring portions, and this could help ensure that the values they provide are reliable. So definitely, they have to work with nutritionist dietitians or registered nutritionist dietitians to standardize their recipes and also to count their calories for them.
Doc Dex, what other nutritional details besides the calories that restaurants should consider displaying to provide a fuller picture of a meal's health impact? Because like for me, for example, since I have kidney problems, I always look at the sodium content of what I eat. So what are the other things that should be on that calorie count display?
You're right, no? Calories are not just, health is not just equivalent to your calories. It could be helpful to display other information such as your sugar content, your saturated fat content, your sodium content, and your fiber content. These indicators could provide a more comprehensive views of your meal's nutritional quality and how it can contribute to your long-term health. Say, for example, if you have kidney problems, you might want to consider decreasing your sodium content. And if you have problems with your diabetes, you may want to consider lowering your sugar intake. And if you have your hypertension and your heart disease, you may want to consider lowering your saturated fat content and giving more fiber to your diet.
Of course, for those wondering here, we just want to clarify also that the barangay micro businesses and micro, small, and medium enterprises like ambulant vendors, hawkers and carinderia owners are exempted from the ordinance. And of course, there's going to be a rollout period for the next 3 years when it comes to the scale of this. So for those in QC who do own food businesses, don't panic po. There will be time. But Doc, of course, we're talking a lot about calorie counting, and a lot of it will focus on the concept of caloric deficit. Some people don't understand how many calories they need in their own life or given their own lifestyle. Do you feel that this type of labeling could actually have unintended consequences of some people probably taking it a bit too far?
Well, yes. One possible unintended consequence is that some individuals, especially those with eating disorders, may become overly fixated on the calories rather than just focusing on balanced nutrition. So there is also a risk of oversimplifying food choices, as we mentioned earlier, that calories alone do not actually reflect the overall health impact of a meal. So better na magkaroon din ng discussion with their local nutrition experts and the private nutrition experts when it comes to these labeling of your calories.
Do you see this rule applying to other cities in the Philippines, or do you think it's just going to be in QC?
For now, I think it's just going to be in QC, but if implemented effectively, this rule could contribute to lower obesity rates and reduction in lifestyle-related diseases like your hypertension, diabetes, even cancer, even heart disease. So, however, long-term success will actually depend on the sustained public education and complementary health initiatives.
Doc Dex, do you think the consumers will actually pay attention to the calorie information, or will it have minimal impact on their choices?
It would depend. Siyempre, yung mga health-conscious consumers, they would likely pay more attention. But for others, it might take time for the awareness to kick in, to translate into behavioral changes. But in the larger scale, we have to have more public education campaigns alongside calorie labeling to be to maximize the impact of this rule.
You know, we're talking about trying to improve the nutrition of the general public, of course, with the calories being displayed. But do you see any? I know you're not necessarily a restaurateur, pero do you feel that this will be a bit of a challenge for some restaurants to provide an accurate calorie count, considering that restaurants do change their menus, do change their recipes from time to time, and do you feel that that would be maybe a bit of a stumbling block or a hurdle in the implementation of this ordinance?
Well, it could be. Tandaan natin that yun nga sa pagpapalit-palit ng ating menus, no? So we can actually collaborate with nutrition experts such as, again, your registered nutritionists, dietitians to count their calories accurately. So kinakailangan, no, it could be a hurdle, no? Pero since this is a rule that is now being implemented in Quezon City, it could take time talaga for our not only businesses and our consumers, but also to the registered nutritionists, dietitians to actually have more interaction with our restaurateurs. So kinakailangan maging ready din sila.
You mentioned dietitians and nutritionists, but what about the QC, LGU, or health organizations? Should they provide support or guidance to help these restaurants implement this change effectively?
Of course, no, the support of your LGU and your health organizations is very, very crucial for the success of this initiative. They have to provide training sessions, they have to provide toolkits, they have to provide free access to nutritional analysis softwares kung meron man, o kung wala man, dyan papasok yung mga registered nutritionists, dietitians. They have to connect them kasi, no, para magkaroon ng mas maayos na implementation ito. Lalo at hindi naman lahat ng tao alam agad yung calorie count nila, at hindi rin naman lahat ng tao ay tama yung mga nakikita online ng mga calories na pinapakita, say for example, when you Google, no, hindi lahat yon pare-pareho. Say for example, yung chicken breast na ginisa, no, na may iba't ibang kasama sa pagkain, hindi naman pare-pareho yung lumalabas na calorie count. So doon pa lang po pwede na magkaroon ng pagbabago. That's why they have to consult a registered nutritionist, dietitian. They also have to have a guiding help with your QC-LGU.
Tama yun, Doc Dex, because the calorie count really changes or varies depending on the grams nung food that you're eating. So it's really best that the restaurant provides this labeling already. What long-term effects do you foresee, Doc Dex, from this rule on obesity rates and lifestyle diseases in Quezon City?
Well, again, if implemented ng tama, no, maaari talaga siyang makapagpababa ng obesity rates natin and would definitely have a reduction in lifestyle-related diseases, hypertension, diabetes, sa puso, even cancers, no. But again, no, tandaan po natin na kaya natin din ito siguro ginagawa dahil nagkakaroon na rin tayo ng mga pag-aaral na sinasabi na by 2050 po pwede po na kalahati ng populasyon, not only in the Philippines but also in the entire world, could be obese. No, so it could help, no, it could help to contribute to lower obesity rates in Quezon City. But hanggang kung Quezon City lang gagawa nito, maaari na kokonti yung maapektuhan natin. Pero it could lead to the small tides could lead to tsunamis naman eh.
Yes.
Doc, do you have any advice, because this is just being implemented in Quezon City, for those who are trying to calorie count or try to stay healthy in the other cities? What do you recommend? How should they stay healthy and eating healthy when they go to restaurants?
When they go to restaurants, kinakailangan alam nyo yung inyong tinatawag kong allowance, no? So the allowance na sinasabi natin dito, hindi lang yung pera, no, but also the calories that you can eat throughout the day. Say for example, for the ladies na nasa 1.5 kilocalories. So alam mo na 1.5 lang yung kinakailangan ninyo. And then sa mga lalaki, minsan 1.8 to 2,100, depende po sa inyong stature, depende rin po sa inyong build. No? Pero yan yung mga average. So kung alam niyo yon, no, kung alam niyo yung mga calories niyo na kinakailangan ma-attain throughout the day, alam niyo na kung gaano maaari niyo malaman kung gaano karami yung mga pagkain na pwede niyo kainin. And another tip is to consult a registered nutritionist dietitian so that you can be taught on how to eyeball yung mga pagkain natin. Say for example, a half cup of rice could give you around 100 kilocalories. Yung one matchbox size ng inyong meat could give you around 41 calories kung hindi siya pinrito. If you add oil to that, you have to add 45 kilocalories. Yung gulay natin, 1 cup, no, na cooked vegetables could give you around 32 calories. So it would depend kung gaano ka dami yung kinakain ninyo and dapat ninyong kainin. Kaya pinakamaganda na magpakonsulta muna po kayo kung kayo ay nagiging conscious kung gaano karaming calories ang dapat ninyong kainin.
Doc, when you're taking a look at obesity and you're taking a look at the amount of calories required to actually go in a caloric deficit, na-mention na natin kanina na minsan may nag-go overboard. Perhaps you should take 2,000 just to maintain, but then you end up taking 1.5 kasi you want to lose weight quickly and perhaps not healthily enough. Doc, when you look at from a person-per-person basis, how can people safely and accurately determine how much calories they need to actually, one, lose weight healthily, and two, actually maintain or perhaps even gain weight?
Well, the calories, yung calories kasi natin, there are two, your calories in or your calories out. So if you want to maintain your weight right now, so kinakailangan pantay yan, calories in and calories out. And then kung gusto mong magbawas ng timbang, you reduce around 500 to 1,000 kilocalories from the maintenance calories na meron ka. So you can compute, no? Merong computers na nakikita online, no? These are fairly accurate naman. Yung BMR calculators natin, pwede nyo naman po gamitin yan. So may mga online na makikita sa yung TDEE calculators. Yun yung mga makikita ninyo na pwedeng mas accurate kung ilang calories ang pwede ninyong kainin throughout the day. Now, when it comes to your weight reduction, you might want to reduce 500 to 1,000 kilocalories if you want to add more weight, no? So you add 500 to 1,000. So kapag ka naman gusto po ninyo na ma-maintain, so you maintain your maintenance calories at that. And then you check talaga, no? You check talaga yung mga calories na ng pagkain sa pamamagitan ng ito po pwede nyo tingnan yung mga MyFitnessPal, no? And then you also have NutriCoach, and then you also have other sources of information. Pero yan lang yung mga sa ngayon ay pwede po ninyong gamitin. So mas accurate itong mga to, MyFitnessPal, NutriCoach, and then soon sa iba pang mga apps siguro magkakaroon na. And pinakamainam na tip na pwede natin gawin is to consult a registered nutritionist dietitian para ma-count namin kung gaano karami talagang calories ang pwede sa inyo at kung gaano karaming carbohydrates, proteins, and fats that would give you the type of energy na kinakailangan ninyo throughout the day. Kasi kung kayo po ay may diabetes, kung kayo po ay may hypertension, meron kayong kidney problems, nag-iiba-iba po ang distribution ng calories natin per carbohydrates, per protein, per fats, and even your micronutrients.
Doc, we do 500 to 1,000 too much in general dito sa group. Well, I don't know about Anne.
Anne, definitely not me. I'm way over. So I need this. But thank you so much, Doc, for coming on this morning. We really appreciate your insights. And for our viewers who want to find you and have any more questions, where can they find you?
Okay, you can see me on social media. It's Dr. Dex Macalintal on Facebook, on TikTok, and on YouTube, and on Instagram, it's Dex Macalintal.
Perfect. Well, once again, that was Dr. Dex Macalintal, lifestyle medicine specialist. Thanks, Doc.
Anytime.
Now, what is in and what's out in architecture for 2025? We will speak with architect/content creator Dax Tapay after the break. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. Is minimalism just another fleeting trend or a shift in design that's here to stay? And what other architectural designs are in vogue for houses this 2025? Let's hear what architect and content creator Dax Augustus Tapay has to say. It's a beautiful day, Architect Dax. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Now, Dax, minimalism in architectural designs has been trendy for the past recent years. Now, all white interiors have popped up in celebrities' houses and even in cafes that want to be Instagrammable. Now, first and foremost, how do you define minimalism in architecture, and why do you think this is a trend that people always prefer or people always go back to?
Actually, I honestly don't 100% agree na it's a trend yung minimalism because naturally Filipinos are maximalists. Hindi minimalist ang Filipinos but I think Filipinos are also colonial mentality. Kaya parang yung mga trends online, we just copy it. So may time kasi na minimalism is trend abroad. So parang we adopt those style. And I believe sa cafes naman, they tend to opt for minimalist because it's easier to decorate and accessorize.
Right.
At minsan mas mura nga Depende. But of course, when you mentioned that you don't feel that that's a trend, what trend do you see popping up here in the Philippines in particular, especially since you feel that a lot of it is influenced by what we see overseas?
Well, I think Filipinos are trying to be minimalist, but it always end up maximalist. So if you're going to try to notice yung mga interiors ng cafes, yung mga walls, floor, ceilings, they're minimalist. But if after that, the architecture, the shell, when they already started to decorate the interior, it always end up maximalist. So I think it's a mix of both.
So what is actual minimalist? For those who are trying to be minimalist pero end up maximizing everything by accident, ano ba ang minimal?
Minimalist is maraming ways to accomplish yung minimalist. Actually, meron nga yung group yung parang minimalist sila sa lifestyle.
Okay.
So sa design naman, pwede kasi yung approach mo sa architecture. So pwede sa facade pa lang is minimalist pa yung approach mo in terms of shape, color, material, and going to the interior naman and how you would furnish your house. Kung ano lang yung kailangan, yun lang ilalagay mo. Hindi ka mag-go beyond what is not needed. So ganon. And also, yung parang ang Filipinos, parang marami tayong clutter. Parang hoarder, ang Filipinos hoarder tayo
Actually,
so parang
I totally agree.
ini-store sa shelves, sa cabinet.
True.
So yun.
Mga halaman.
Argy, you actually hurt the feeling of si Mo dito kasi grabe siya mag-hoard
You've never even been to my house. Not me. That's my Lola. I think it's like a generation thing because she still has some of my old toys or furniture that's been there forever. I mean, like you mentioned, there's so many or so much stuff on the shelf. So I mean, I just want to know, Architect Dax, what are some of your favorite designs to do?
Actually, yung favorite ko yung minimalist. Kasi for me, there's a need for minimalism in the Philippines. Kasi naturally, we're maximalist. And magulo sa, pangit ng ng intro, pero magulo kasi sa Pilipinas eh. Whenever you go outside of your house, parang stressed ka na agad visually. So parang hyperactive analyzing yung mata mo whenever you're outside home. So parang for me, the only time you'll have a visual relaxation is if you have a minimalist house. So yun, para may visual relaxation ka naman, nare-rest yung mata mo, yung pag-analyze mo sa mga bagay, sa nakikita mo sa surroundings mo. Yun sa bahay mo.
You know, Dax, minsan when you talk about minimalism, sometimes the design tends to be parang cold, bare, uninviting. How would you design something minimalist, but at the same time, warm and welcoming pa rin?
Yeah, I agree naman. So, ang ginagawa ng most designers naman, they cross or tawag dito, parang they mix both styles. So parang hybrid na siya ng two styles. So actually ngayon, parang nauso ngayon, yung Japandi. Actually Japandi, nag-trend siya last year and even this year, it's a design trend, yung Japandi. Japandi is a mix of two design styles, which is Japanese and Scandinavian, kaya siya Japandi. So right now naman, nauuso yung eco-brutalism. So it's a mixture of brutalist and eco. So may mix siya ng halaman and being natural. So yon. It's more of mixing both design styles.
Bakit brutalist? I saw nga from the reel that we're seeing on screen kanina, brutalist architecture. What is that all about?
Sorry, I want to add on to that question because it is actually a national heritage almost because of some of our architecture in the 70s and 80s. But when you take a look at eco wood also, how do you combine the two of it? And of course, could you also give a brief history of yung brutalist architecture in the Philippine consciousness? Kasi sa totoo lang, a lot of people don't realize that there are so many great brutalist buildings here in the country.
Uy, you noticed actually, konti lang kasi nakaka-notice ng maraming brutalist designs talaga existing here in the Philippines. May parang page nga ng sa Facebook na Philippine Brutalist, parang gano'n, na they post a lot of brutalist projects here in the Philippines. And maraming magagandang brutalist architecture here in the Philippines. And most of the brutalist architecture here was designed by our national artist, which is si Leandro Locsin. He's an architect, national artist. Tapos, one of those great examples are the CCP complex, PICC complex. Even yung NAIA Terminal 1 is a great example of brutalist architecture. Naging movement ang brutalist nung I believe it's around after World War II. Parang mas mabilis kasi siya i-construct and madali i-manipulate yung material because it's mainly made of concrete. So nagkaroon ng movement na brutalist kasi mas simple siya, mas mabilis siya i-construct. And the style naman is actually it's under modernism, yung brutalist. Postmodernism, I'm sorry.
So you mentioned na yung eco wood rin. Sorry if you can give us that quickly kasi yan ata yung trend na nakita natin dito sa Pilipinas that can actually resonate with us.
Yung eco?
Eco wood at yung brutalist na nasabay.
Yung eco-brutalism.
Yes.
So it's a mixture of two design styles naman. So parang kasi 'di ba pag brutalist masyadong
harsh.
Design patay yung design. So pag nilagyan mo siya ng eco, mas lively siya, nagkakaroon ng balance. Yung mas buhay kasi yung eco kasi magpuput ka ng plants, landscapes, plus i-add mo yung brutalist na element which is very concrete and from the root word itself, it's brute Yun yung root word actually ng brutalism, brute.
Now, Architect Dax, I want to switch the gears a bit because I know you're also a content creator online. So I'm curious, what kind of content do you do?
Ayun, I do actually design and construction contents and I make fun of my contents most of the time. But I started actually doing contents 2020 when I was still in a show. Actually, I'm also an actor. So people would be surprised pag nalaman nila na I'm also an actor. So most of my contents are may acting rin minsan kasi sometimes I miss acting. So doon ko na ilalabas.
Arky, first of all, for those...
Sure if I say the name of the show, so hindi ko namin rin.
No worries. When we want to follow you online, where can we do so? What are your platforms?
After the show, actually, plano ko na muna magtago. Okay, I am active sa Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, but I also do have a YouTube channel. It's at Architect Dax. So from Doc Dex to Archidax.
Oo nga. Well, thank you very much, architect and content creator Dax Augustus Tapay. Thank you for joining the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a nice day po. God bless. Bye-bye.
Now, what is in store for us this Wednesday? Feng Shui Master Hans Kua has the answers as he joins us for our horoscope of the day. Go ahead, Master Hans.
Good morning! It's a beautiful day with me, Master Hans Kua. At ito po ang horoscope for the day para sa araw ng Miyerkules, February 12. Para sa mga pinanganak ng Year of the Rat, magiging steady ang daloy ng pera mula sa trabaho o negosyo. Purple at 8. Punta naman tayo kay Year of the Ox. Ang pagiging resourceful mo ay magbibigay ng advantage sa karera o sa career. Orange at 2. Sa Tiger naman na maglaan ng time para sa financial literacy upang mapalago ang kita. Gold at 9. Sa Rabbit naman na magiging masaya ang love life kung ikaw ay magiging totoo sa nararamdaman mo. Silver at 6. Sa Dragon naman isang bagong project ang magbibigay sa iyo ng pagkakataon upang mapakita mo ang leadership skill mo. Yellow at 1. Sa Year of the Snake naman magkakaroon ka ng inspirasyon mula sa pagmamahal na natatanggap mo. Red at 3. Sa Horse naman tayo, ang pagtitiwala sa iyong instinct ay makakatulong sa financial decision mo. Ang maswerteng color, yellow, maswerteng number naman ay 8. Punta naman tayo kay Year of the Sheep. Mag-ingat sa sobrang pagpapahiram upang mapatinatili lang ang iyong budget. Blue at 5. Sa Year of the Monkey naman ang tamang paglaan ng pera ay magdadala ng financial peace. Green at 1. Sa Rooster naman tayo, ang paglalaan ng oras upang mag-usap ay magpapatibay ng magandang samahan. White at 7. Sa Dog naman tayo, ang maayos na relasyon mo sa iyong boss o kliyente ay magbubunga ng bonus. Pink at 6. Sa Year of the Pig naman tayo, magkakaroon ng mindset na bawat piso ay mahalaga. Purple at 9. Muli po ito po ay paalala lamang. Ito po ay patnubay lamang ni Master Hans. Ang tunay na swerte ay nagsisimula sa pagiging totoo mo. Ako po, si Master Hans Kua.
Thank you for that, Master Hans. Don't miss your daily horoscope forecast with Feng Shui Master Hans Kua, only here on It's a Beautiful Day.
Now, when we return, I'll speak with the Office of Civil Defense spokesperson Chris Bendijo to give us an update on the flooding in Palawan. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back.
Hello and welcome to Follow the Money. I'm Rain Musni. Join us as we explore the tools and insights you need to jumpstart your financial journey. The unemployment rate drops to 3.8% last year. The Department of Agriculture is considering importing additional chicken to prevent a potential egg shortage by April. The Philippine House of Representatives has impeached Vice President Sara Duterte. Keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel, always on top.
To the public. Are there different types of deepfakes? We mentioned it a while ago, photos, videos, audio. Which do you think among the three would be the most dangerous?
I think audio for me is the most dangerous.
Why?
Kasi it's really hard to tell whether what you're hearing, let's say you hear it on a radio, kasi wala kang visual cue eh. The thing about video
Tama.
and pictures, although I have to let you know, don't let people convince you that you can detect deepfakes. It's almost impossible.
Really?
Yeah, it's so flawless.
Now?
Nowadays. Pero palalo na audio. If you hear someone say something sa audio, maybe the only tell is, kasi usually these technologies are based in the States, no? So minsan mali-mali sila sa accent nila, like peso imbis na peso. Pero those are minor glitches. And they'll talk in straight English when dapat naman siguro Taglish. Pero sa video and audio, minsan you will catch an inconsistency. Kasi what they will try to do is they'll get maybe, let's say, footage of you. You know, they'll rip it out of YouTube. Pero they'll use deepfake to let you say something else.
At BNC, 12 noon doesn't mean break. We're always ready to give you the latest news, even at noon.
And those are the news this hour. Here at home, the Commission on Elections assures the Public Attorney's Office files new complaints. NGCP assures the public its Chinese investors are no threat.
Join Maya Rodriguez, delivering fresh news for you. News feed at noon.
Keep it here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel.
First, updated, on top of everything, and focused on the things that matter most. This is who you want to be. So scan your digital boxes now and search for Bilyonaryo News Channel. Always on top. Beauty, adventure.
I do agree with that. I would rather spend my money on travel.
We got you. Join Marie Lozano where she uncovers the untold stories and surprises in the world of lifestyle.
Love it. Let me get my geek on. That was so amazing.
The Lifestyle Lab on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Welcome back. You're still watching It's a Beautiful Day. Now, there is now an update when it comes to Puerto Princesa. The Office of Civil Defense reports at least 3 casualties and 2 others missing from heavy rains and flooding in Palawan. A state of calamity has been declared in Puerto Princesa City. Joining us via Zoom is OCD spokesperson Chris Bendijo. Magandang umaga po. Thank you very much for joining us.
Hi, sir. Good morning.
All right. Good morning, sir. The state of calamity first has just been put up in Puerto Princesa. Could you give us more details kung ano pong status ng Puerto Princesa ngayon?
We're still monitoring flooded areas. No, for Puerto Princesa, we still have 6 reported areas which are still flooded, although receding. And we're a bit concerned of the low pressure area that's developing, although outside our Philippine area of responsibility. There's a forecast that's telling us that it might cause rain still in Palawan. So we're monitoring this because really the ground is really saturated. No? If you can imagine, 350 millimeters of water was brought by this shear line. And on the average, it's just 30 millimeters. The last, if you can, the last highest recorded water disbursement was 1975. And that was just 250 millimeters of water. So we're monitoring this because we want to take advantage of the stoppage of the rains. We're conducting rescue operations. Right now, we're also monitoring our evacuation centers. And that's the current situation right now.
Sir, could you give us more details on the amount of manpower present in terms of rescue operations in the affected areas?
I'm sorry, Paolo, I didn't get that.
Could you give us a bit of an update on the type of manpower already being utilized in terms of yung rescue operations po ninyo?
Yes, right now our rescue equipment and vehicles are being deployed because obviously the problem here is access to our residents. No? So our local OCD, our regional offices are coordinating with the local government units to determine which of their residents have not yet been evacuated to the evacuation centers. We're trying to go to them, and usually it's not really a matter of choice for these individuals. Either they have problems with mobility, old age. That's why we are concentrating our relief equipment, our rescue equipment rather, to these areas. No? We are coordinating with the Philippine Coast Guard, our local police, our Bureau of Fire. I think that's the complement of our rescue team.
The affected areas, po, we mentioned Puerto Princesa already under the state of calamity, but are there other affected areas that the OCD is looking at?
Yes. Sorry. Excuse me. For Palawan, we're monitoring Aborlan, Nara, Brooks Point also, no? And I think of recent, Eastern Visayas is also being affected by the shear line. For Eastern Visayas, we have 90 families already affected. So we're monitoring both regions. We're in close coordination with our regional directors of the OCD.
So are there any official numbers yet, or an updated number of the number of casualties or people missing, as well as residents evacuated, starting first in Palawan and then looking at Eastern Visayas?
Okay, for Palawan, in terms of casualties, I think you reported earlier that there have been 3 casualties. This is a result of a vehicular accident. No? They tried to traverse a flooded area, but unfortunately, they were swept by the flood. Of this incident, there are still 2 missing individuals, but subject for verification. In terms of evacuation for Palawan, affected population for Palawan, we have a total of 64 barangays. That's closely 13,000 families, or roughly 44,000 individuals. In Eastern Visayas, that's 90 families, 362 individuals, 237 in Northern Samar, 45 in Eastern Samar, and 80 in Leyte. Total affected population would be 23,000 families, or that's closely 86,000 individuals.
Do we have any updates on whether or not there is already an estimate of the cost of the damage wrought by the rains?
For today, Paolo, we're expecting a report by 9 a.m. You see, yesterday and this morning, we're still concentrating on rescue and relief operations. After we're done with that, we will do our post-disaster needs assessment. That's where the reports will come in as to the value of agricultural or other infrastructure damages will come in.
Sir Chris, I know that we are still in the middle of the operations in terms of rescuing people, in terms of trying to make sure that the damage is mitigated, especially, and also hoping that the LPA does not affect the relief operations as well. But a lot of people are wondering, how did the flooding situation get this bad over in Palawan? I know you mentioned that it is a bit historic. I think the most amount of rain since the 70s. But then from an infrastructure point of view, is there anything that people could point to with regard to the poor flood management over in Palawan?
Well, what we can say is that in terms of infrastructure, we have flood control projects there. No? But again, going back to the numbers, I think it's just really overwhelming. This is perhaps a result of climate change. And I think this is where the dialogue should start. No? With respect to infrastructure, I think we should make more appropriate adjustments insofar as flood control, because it appears that this is the new norm. No? Right now, we are also in coordination and communication with Pag-asa in developing a system, a warning system with respect to shear line, because I think we've had a discussion before, no? That as compared to tropical cyclones, that you can predict the movement, the eye of the storm, its trajectory, its direction. The peculiar thing about shear line is that the cloud formations just really stay, no? They don't have much movement. That's why the rainfall is focused on a particular area. And because of this, the flood control projects, the infrastructure is really overwhelmed. So if you can imagine, on the average, it's expecting 30 millimeters of water. And then over the last day, it delivered more than 350 millimeters. So I think we have to sit down and discuss with our government agencies again. There's a full council meeting of the NDRRMC, and I'm sure this is something that will come up.
Thank you so much for all your updates. That is the OCD spokesperson, Chris Bendijo, for those updates. Maraming salamat po. Have a good morning.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Now,
in the meantime, Cambodia urges the Philippines to import rice from its suppliers, promising a more stable supply at competitive prices. Top Cambodian officials, led by their prime minister, met with Philippine officials on Monday to discuss trade opportunities, including agricultural exports. Sujin Kim with the details.
Cambodia is urging the Philippines to deepen economic collaboration, highlighting opportunities in foreign investments, tourism, and supply chain integration. With Cambodia's $7 billion foreign direct investment surge in 2024, a 40% increase from previous, their officials are calling on Filipino investors to take advantage of the country's pro-business environment and generous tax incentives.
The Royal Government of Cambodia is committed to diversifying trade and investments and leveraging comparative advantages, including robust infrastructure development initiative, enhanced regional connectivity, free trade agreements, skilled workforce, and dynamic domestic market. Cambodia also offers a range of attractive investment opportunities for mutually beneficial cooperations.
Both our government and our private sector community is deeply committed to fostering a welcome, stable, secure, business-friendly environment for Philippine investors.
Cambodia is also betting on stronger ties with the Philippines in infrastructure, digital transformation, and sustainable energy.
For Cambodian perspective, we see significant potential for partnership with Philippine business across key sectors, include agri processing, hospitality, real estate, education, and manufacturing.
Trade Undersecretary Seferino Rodolfo likewise underscored high potential investments in the country.
To our Cambodian friends, the Philippines is rich in what we call as green metals or green minerals. These are metals that the world needs as we transition to a more sustainable future, meaning metals that are needed in battery production. Philippines is rich in nickel, copper, and in cobalt.
Amid ongoing talks on trade expansion, Cambodia is calling on the Philippines to consider importing rice directly from Cambodia, bypassing middlemen to secure a more stable supply at competitive prices.
It would really be both to our advantage if we can establish more direct trading arrangements within the Philippines and Cambodia, not just for rice, but for other agricultural products.
Beyond trade, tourism is emerging as a key driver of economic ties between the two countries. The number of Filipino tourists in Cambodia more than doubled since 2022. To capitalize this momentum, discussions are underway to increase direct flights between the two countries. Moreover, Cambodia envisions the region as a single factory in a single country, where nations collaborate to streamline supply chains, reduce costs, and boost competitiveness in a global scale. With growing trade partnerships and investment incentives, both countries are laying the groundwork for a more dynamic and interconnected Southeast Asia. Soojin Kim, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Now up ahead, designer Michael Kors unveils layered luxury at New York Fashion Week. That story and more after the break. It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back.
But 可是其实他们的生命应该是跟我们家我养的狗像我的姐妹一样的宝贵，所以有这个念头之后呢，我就再也无法吃肉了。
Duterte from the PNP Academy Tagapagkalinga class of 1991 is now circulating on social media. The letter describes the impeachment complaint against Duterte as political persecution, claiming it has no factual or legal basis. It also affirms the solidarity and commitment of Class 91 members to fight what they call unjust prosecution of the Vice President. Some prominent members of PNPA Tagapagkalinga class of 1991 include former Region 3 Director General Jose Hidalgo Jr., BARM Regional Director Brigadier General Alan Noblesa, Caraga Regional Director Brigadier General Alan Nazaro, former NCRPO Chief Brigadier General Reynaldo Tamundong. PNP spokesperson Police Brigadier General Jean Fajardo confirmed the letter's authenticity.
Yes ma'am, kinonfirm ko po yan doon sa mga miyembro po ng PNPA Class 91 at majority of them except for 3 active PNP personnel ay naglabas daw po sila. It was just a draft letter of support doon sa mga miyembro po ng grupo po na ito na naglabas po ng support sa ating Vice President Sara Duterte. Karapatan po nila yan, katulad po ng ibang mga individual at grupo na magpahayag po ng kanila pong suporta at hindi po natin saklaw kung ano po yung mga nilalaman ng kanilang isip. But with respect ma'am doon sa 3 natitira po na kanilang mga miyembro, nakausap ko po yung isa sa kanila earlier and according to him ay wala naman po silang pinirmahan yan. It was the stand of their class at grupo, but yung 3 active po, they will remain political and non-partisan at hindi po nila saklaw yung kaisipan ng ibang miyembro po ng klase po nila.
Fajardo also named the 3 active members of PNPA Class 91, General Reynaldo Tamundong, Deputy of NCRPO, General Archibald Macala, Director of Region 6, Colonel Ramil Labastida, HPG. Despite the letter, Fajardo assured the public that the PNP remains loyal to its duty and the administration.
Wala po itong magiging epekto doon po sa mga aktibong miyembro po ng Philippine National Police Academy because alam po namin yung aming mga sinumpaang tungkulin po at alam po namin na bilang mga miyembro po ng PNP kami po ang unang-unang dapat magpaalala sa ating mga hanay na we should remain apolitical and non-partisan.
As the PNPA Class 91 letter supporting BP Sara surfaced, another letter allegedly from the PNP supporting PBBM also spread online. However, Fajardo clarified that this letter has nothing to do with BP Sara's impeachment. Instead, it was a letter expressing support for the term extension of PNP Chief Romel Marbil. Fajardo reiterated that the PNP remains focused on security preparations for the upcoming elections, especially as the campaign period for national candidates begins. Francis Polbe, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
The Philippines is making moves to chart the path forward for the economic ties between Manila and Washington under the second Trump presidency. Sujin Kim returns with this report.
With economic and geopolitical tensions escalating in the region, the Philippines is bolstering its trade, security, and investment ties with the United States, a strategic move to secure its economic and national interests. The Philippines is pushing for a critical minerals agreement with the US and Japan to maintain control over its mining industry and avoid overdependence on China.
Pursue it even more vigorously this time because, again, it will be mutually beneficial for both the United States and the Philippines. I think people should realize that the Philippines actually, the minerals that we have in this country is top grade. In the world, we're somewhere between number 2 or 3 or somewhere there, the top 3, what they call very valuable type of minerals. It's high grade. And that's something that we have it here. And we should use that as a bargaining chip to be able to get better prices.
Currently, over 90% of the country's mineral exports go to China at low prices, a situation the Philippine government is determined to change by developing local nickel processing facilities.
This is an opportunity for the Philippines to finally really find a way to be independent in terms of our economic dependence. We have to make our economy really strong enough and resilient enough to withstand any kind of pressure so that we have a strong base for us to be able to negotiate on what is best for our country. This is the only way we can survive this.
To prevent China from dominating the Philippine nickel industry, similar to what happened in Indonesia, where China now controls 90% of the sector, the government is actively seeking investments from the US, Japan, and South Korea. Experts say a US-Philippines free trade agreement is now more likely under a second Trump administration especially as the Philippines has the lowest trade surplus with the U.S. among ASEAN countries, standing at just $4 billion.
The climate for the U.S.-Philippine relationship is a positive one. I mean, there are no big negatives floating around.
However, experts recommend a more strategic approach, focusing on sector-specific free trade agreements, particularly in mining, semiconductors, and renewable energy to accelerate negotiations. Government officials also reassure that the Philippines has little to worry about regarding U.S. trade protectionism, as its trade surplus with America remains relatively small. Sujin Kim, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
AC Mobility of the Bilyonaryo Zubelde Ayala family forecasts a big bump in Kia sales to 12,500 units this year. The details from our mobility correspondent, G. Baroga.
Kia wrapped up 2024 with a 33% growth in sales, moving 6,692 units. But they're aiming even higher this year, with sales expected to nearly double, with the Kia Sonet hitting all the right notes.
The Kia Sonet, if you recall, was introduced last June of 2024, and it made up around 70% of our sales. So with that, we grew 33%, and we see further growth this year as we sustain the Kia Sonet for the full year. So this year, we are looking at to hit around 12,500 units for Kia this year.
Buendia says the key to success is keeping customers at the heart of it all.
When we were designing the Sonet, we had a lot of research, we had a lot of FGDs, we had car clinics and all. Also, with the Sorento, we did the same thing because we know that listening to your customers and giving them what they actually need is the winning formula.
Kia has 40 dealerships across the country and is focusing on strengthening each one to offer top-notch customer service. Meanwhile, Bilyonaryo heir Jaime Alfonso Zobel de Ayala shares that 2025 is shaping up to be a year of big change.
Our vision for 2025 is clear. We're here to accelerate the transition towards a cleaner, smarter, and more sustainable future. We're doing this by expanding Kia's electrified vehicle lineup, advancing our commitment to a more sustainable way of life, and working to make electrified vehicles more accessible to Filipinos nationwide.
He says AC Mobility's charging network, now boasting 141 points and counting, ensures owners can charge up wherever they go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we give you the new Kia Sorento Turbo Hybrid.
To kick off the year, Jaime Alfonso also introduced the Sorento Turbo Hybrid, the first time this nameplate is powered by this engine. Price ranges from 2.188 to 2.888 million pesos. Kia offers a range of powertrains worldwide, including internal combustion engines, battery electric vehicles, and hybrid models. In the Philippines, AC Mobility says it is committed to giving Filipinos more options when it comes to their daily driver. For BNC Mobility, G. Baroga.
In Hong Kong, a groundbreaking legislation for smokers as its government pushes the anti-tobacco agenda by banning vaping in 2026. Vaping remains rampant in Hong Kong despite the 2022 ban in importing, manufacturing, and selling e-cigarettes. The ban will start indoors as authorities admit it will be difficult to enforce in public places. According to the World Health Organization, almost 3 dozens of countries have already banned e-cigarettes.
Now let's talk about fashion because Michael Kors reveals his fall-winter 2025 collection at New York Fashion Week. Known for his love of practicality and luxury, Kors infused his latest collection with a theme of throwaway chic. Models were dressed in a range of outfits that were relaxed yet sexy, providing a twist on power dressing. The collection was a departure from recent trends of revealing attire, instead presenting more covered-up, sensual outfits that still exuded sexiness and confidence. From draped wool coats to supple leather dresses and flowing silk blouses, each piece in the collection showcased Kore's ability to transform simple materials into fashion-forward yet wearable attire.
Listen, the crazy thing after 100 fashion shows, I am insatiably curious. I have terrible FOMO. I always need to see things first, and I think that the trick to longevity in fashion is evolution. You need to be consistent, but you need to change.
Yeah, you know.
I need them all.
We've got to have those
I'm
coats.
watching Michael Kors making his comeback. Like literally, I need all of them.
There, that one. I want that.
My gosh.
Michael Kors, thank you.
As if naman Michael's watching
tan one. Thank you, Michael Kors. I love that tan, that shiny tan coat.
Okay,
Amazing.
you do you, girl.
Malay mo. I will always manifest. I will never stop manifesting.
Paolo. Anyway, aside from Anne's manifesting, thoughts on the collection? They're so pretty.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like that would look great on you, that green one. Bagay kay Paolo yan.
Bagay with your unbuttoned shirt.
No,
It's
wala nang
gonna
shirt
be
under. Para bare na lahat.
Chest pa lang ulam na.
But you know what? It's interesting because they said that basic still covered up, yet still looking sexy. Conservative is in.
Always.
That's true.
It's
Always.
always been
Yeah.
in. Have you guys always been conservative?
I'm always conservative.
Same. Conservative ka?
Yeah, I'm conservative.
Well, we're always
Okay.
conservative sa show except for that chest exposure today. I think
What?
that's
What
the
chest
first time we had
exposure?
chest
This
exposure.
is like the typical.
So hindi ka conservative.
Huh? Yeah,
Hindi ka
it's conservative. This is not a lot.
Para mga a few centimeters away from the conservative level ng chest mo eh.
Like this is towing the line, but I didn't cross the line. Yan yung importante.
Okay, you're right. At least making boundaries.
You see, kapag fashion yung pinag-uusapan, wala talagang masabi. But of course, Michael Kors is hopefully listening to both of you.
Yes, that tan coat, I love it. It's amazing. It'll look good here on the show.
I wonder, he has a store at Shangri-La Mall.
Yeah.
I wonder if these pieces will be there.
That's it for us this Wednesday, February 12. I'm Paolo del Rosario. Thank you very much for joining us.
I'm Anne Asis-Carilo. Thanks for making us your daily morning habit. Remember to bring your own sunshine wherever this day takes you. Always choose joy and spread kindness.
And I'm Monique Tuzon. Have a great hump day ahead. Join us again tomorrow at 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. only here on
It's a Beautiful Day!